Well, good evening everyone, and welcome to Pictures in the Park. My name's Mark Parsons, and I'm the pastor of Beaumaris Community Baptist Church. We're the small community church that bring you Pictures in the Park each year. And we meet in the community hall each Sunday at 10 a.m. In the little community hall outside the IGA at Beaumaris. And each night that we screen a movie, I like to talk about something that people have raised with me as a relevant issue of faith that they're thinking about. And at the moment, I wanted us to think about the issue of how people have begun to see religion in the world. Not sure if you've noticed, but we've had a bit of a shift in terms of how people think about faith and religion. We used to think of it as something private and largely irrelevant, not something that needs to be a concern of everybody. But nowadays, people are beginning to see it as a public concern, something that we all need to think about. And the reason for that is that people are saying that religion is part of the problem of why the world is the way it is. And they say that religion is causing division, causing conflict, even wars. And it may surprise you to hear that I actually agree with that view. I think that religion is causing much division in our society. And thinking about this, here's why I think it happens. You see, I think it happens because of what happens in a slippery slope of the heart, is what we call it. You see, religion is based on the premise that what we need to do to be acceptable people, to be people who are right with God, to be good people, is that we need to know a set of truths, and we need to obey those truths. We need to follow them. And so what happens is, if we feel we are doing that well, we begin to gain a sense of superiority. That's the first step of what happens in our heart. We start to think about how we look at other people, and we think about ourselves as the ones who have the truth and who are doing the truth. And so we look down on others, and we start to gain a sense of superiority. Well, what's the second step that happens? Well, we start to see these people who are not like us as a threat to our way of doing life. We start to see them as different, and we start to want to separate ourselves from them. And so it begins to create social division. And that leads then onto the third step. See, and the third step is to begin to, in our minds, caricature people, to begin to color them with the same brush. And we color them as the bad ones, as the ones over there who are not right, not like us, who don't do what is right. That's the third step, you see. And that leads easily to the fourth step. And the fourth step is that we can easily then start to disadvantage those people, marginalize them, even oppress them in passive and then active ways. And you see, because we see ourselves as superior, the ones who have and do the truth, because we see ourselves as needing to protect ourselves, and because we see other people as less valuable and not as precious as us, we justify marginalizing other people. And so, does that mean that all religion is dangerous? That all faith is no good? Definitely not. And here's why. Because if we understand the message of Jesus, and we understand it aright, we'll see that it's a message that doesn't lead to disunity, that doesn't lead to conflict, but it leads to humility and love. And here's why. You see, at the heart of Jesus' message is the fact that none of us can perform the truths that we ought to perfectly. And so that means that we're all not good enough for God. And that means that we all need God's grace in order to be accepted back into the family of God. And so you see, that leads to humility, because I can't say that I'm better than you. We're all in the same boat, what the Bible calls sinners. The Bible says all have fallen short of the glory of God. And so that doesn't lead to division, but it leads to a unity, because we're all in the same boat. And we can't say that there's us and them, that we're the good ones, because the fundamental truth is that we're all the same, and we need God's grace to be accepted. And so that leads to concern and love for others, and the sharing of an absolute message that doesn't lead to division, but rather leads to humility, love, and grace. And so, you see, understood properly, Christianity is not a rule-based religion that leads to division, but it's a relationship of grace with a loving Father that leads to unity and leads to humility and growth. And so next time someone says to you, I don't want anything to do with religion because it divides. It's the reason we have so many problems in the world. Say, yes, I agree. But I also know that there's a message that comes from Jesus about faith that leads to humility, grace, love, and unity. And so I hope that gives you some ideas about how to think about the differences between religion and faith and relationship with God through Jesus. And if you want to explore more about Jesus and his message, there are free copies available for you tonight of The Essential Jesus, Luke's biography on the life of Jesus. And we encourage you to take a copy and have a read of the message for yourself. Well, thanks for listening tonight, everyone. Hope you have a great movie and hope to catch you all soon. Good night, everyone.